Imagine a brand new car. Electric. Smart. A big touchscreen, cameras, even self-parking. And it costs about $10,000. Not a promise. Not a concept. It's on sale right now, and it's rolling off ships by the millions. For half the world, this is the first car a family could ever afford. For the other half, it's a threat big enough that governments are racing to keep it out. Today, China's $10,000 car, why it's flooding the planet, and what it means for your wallet and your job. Let's break down the mechanics. Start with the car. China's best-selling cheap electric car starts around $10,000. Some rivals go lower, $7,000, even $8,000. And here's the part that stuns Western car makers. No other major country can build anything close at that price. By one estimate, a small electric car costs nearly $10,000 less to make in China than in Germany. And this isn't a flimsy little box. Many come with big screens, modern safety, even laser-guided driver assist, features that cost a fortune in a Western showroom. A real car at scooter-and-a-half money. So why is China suddenly shipping these everywhere? Because at home, it's a bloodbath. Too many factories, too many brands, all building too many cars, and a brutal price war has crushed profits to almost nothing. In early 2026, Chinese EV sales actually fell, and out of dozens of car makers, only a handful still make money. When you can't sell the glut at home, you send it abroad. China is on track to export nearly 10 million vehicles this year, up more than 40% in a single year. The flood isn't really a strategy. It's an escape valve. Now, the question that keeps Western executives up at night. Why so cheap? It's not magic, and it's mostly not subsidies. It's the battery, the single most expensive part of an electric car. Chinese firms spent over a decade perfecting a cheaper battery chemistry, and today they build battery packs for far less than anyone in the West. That one advantage, $2,000 to $4,000 per car, flows straight to the price on the window. And it runs deep. A handful of Chinese companies now make the batteries for most of the world's electric cars. This is the key line of the whole story. The cost gap is structural. You cannot tariff your way out of a 10-year head start, which is exactly why the walls went up. The United States slapped a 100% tariff on Chinese cars, effectively locking them out, with a ban on Chinese car software coming right behind it. Europe stacked extra duties of roughly 20 to 40% on top of its normal tax. The goal was simple: protect millions of car-making jobs in Detroit, in Germany, in Japan, from a wave they can't match on price. For a Western auto worker, that wall feels like survival. But here's the twist that makes this whole story fascinating. The walls didn't stop the flood, they just redirected it. When America and Europe shut their doors, China's exports barely dipped. The cars simply flowed to Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa instead. And where a wall stood, China found a gate. It shipped plug-in hybrids, which face a much smaller tax, and it started building factories inside Europe, in Hungary, in Turkey, to make the cars locally and skip the tariff altogether. Block the car, and China just moves the factory. So who actually gets these cars? For much of the developing world, this is genuinely good news. From Thailand to Brazil, cheap Chinese electric cars are putting families into their first car ever. Clean, cheap to run, a real step up from a motorbike. Last year, nearly 2/3 of the electric cars sold in emerging markets were Chinese. But even there, the door is starting to close. Mexico is raising its tariff to 50%. Brazil brought its taxes back. Because every country faces the same impossible choice: cheaper cars for your people or protection for your jobs. You rarely get both. So here's something you can actually use, and it reaches far beyond cars. When something is suddenly, shockingly cheap, ask one question. Is it cheap for a structural reason or a temporary one? Temporary cheap comes from a subsidy, a discount, a company burning cash to grab market share. It vanishes, and the price snaps back. Structural cheap comes from something durable, a better process, a real cost advantage built over years, genuine scale. That kind of cheap is here to stay. China's $10,000 car is structural, which is exactly why tariffs can redirect it, but can't kill it. Learn to tell the two apart, and you'll know which price drops to trust and which ones are a trap. Works for a car, a gadget, or a stock. So, 2 things to carry out of this. Takeaway 1. The mindset. A structural cost advantage doesn't vanish because you're uncomfortable with it. Walls can slow it, buy time, protect jobs for a while, but they don't erase a 10-year head start. The countries that use that time to catch up will win. The ones that just hide behind the wall fall further behind. Takeaway 2. The action. Wherever you live, this wave is coming for a car near you, as an import, a locally built model, or just cheaper prices across the lot. So when you next buy, judge the car, not the flag. Ask what it costs to own, not just to buy. The cheapest sticker isn't always the cheapest car, but this time, surprisingly often, it is. A $10,000 car. A price war that became a flood. Walls that redirect instead of stop. Whether it reaches your driveway cheap or blocked comes down to one thing: which side of the wall you happen to live on. But the machine behind it? That's the same everywhere. If this made the whole EV war finally click, hit subscribe. We break down one of these every week. And tell me in the comments, would you buy a $10,000 Chinese car, or do the tariffs make sense to you? Because whether it's a battery, a border, or your next car, the mechanics are the same. Follow the cost, and the rest makes sense. That's the mechanics. See you in the next one.